Greetings and peace. I would like to start this with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be with you and yours. Today's presentation explores the teaching of the Sufi master, Najm ad-Din Al-Kubra, and his 10 principles, which was translated into English by Shaykh Azar Mirza-Beg. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this, and I represent myself only. This presentation is created strictly for educational, entertainment, fair use, and non-profit purposes. It does not endorse, promote, or encourage adherence to any specific ideology, organization, or individual, nor does it seek to persuade viewers towards any belief system or structured path. The teachings presented are drawn from classical Sufi literature and are shared for reflection, study, and personal development. Viewers are encouraged to extract beneficial insights and apply them ethically in ways that contribute to becoming better human beings in contemporary society. First, we learn about Shaykh Azar Mirza-Beg. He was born in 1951 in Baku to Muslim parents, experienced life across multiple cultural and political environments, leaving the Soviet Union during the Perestroika era, and residing in Berlin, Paris, and London before returning to Baku, Azerbaijan in 1999. He's known for founding a Sufi organization linked to the Kubrawi tradition and for translating significant classical Sufi texts into Azari, Turkish, and Russian, playing a major role in preserving and transmitting spiritual knowledge to modern audiences. So he's the one that translated Najm ad-Din Kubra's The 10 Principles into English. The Sufi master Najm ad-Din Kubra, originally named Ahmad bin Omar Kewaki, was recognized early for his intellectual brilliance and deep engagement with theological studies, earning respect in scholarly circles for his mastery of knowledge and debate. His title, quote-unquote Kubra, emerged from his excellence and victories in intellectual discourse, eventually becoming synonymous with his identity as both a scholar and a spiritual authority. A turning point in his life came from encounters with spiritual figures, such as Baba Faraj, whose presence deeply affected him and redirected his focus away from purely academic pursuits towards experiential spiritual knowledge. This shift reflects a central Sufi teaching that intellectual understanding alone is insufficient without inner transformation and direct experience of divine realities. Following his awakening, Najm ad-Din abandoned conventional scholarly pursuits and embraced ascetic practices, solitude, and intense self-discipline in order to purify his soul and draw closer to God. This transition illustrates the Sufi emphasis on detachment from worldly attachments and the necessity of inward focus to achieve higher states of awareness. Throughout his journey, he studied under multiple spiritual masters who corrected his ego, challenged his assumptions, and guided him through complex inner states and experiences. This highlights the importance of the teacher-student relationship in Sufism, where the Shaykh plays a critical role in shaping the spiritual development of the disciple. Despite his progress, Najm ad-Din experienced moments of doubt and internal struggle, questioning whether he had chosen the correct path and grappling with the tension between intellect and spirituality. These challenges demonstrate that uncertainty and struggle are integral parts of the spiritual journey, serving as catalysts for deeper realization and growth. Eventually, Najm ad-Din Kubra established his own spiritual center in Khorazm, where he gathered disciples and began teaching a structured approach to spiritual development. His teachings emphasized discipline, inner purification, remembrance of God, and complete surrender to divine will, forming the foundation of the Kubrawi Sufi order tradition. During the Mongol invasion, Najm ad-Din refused to flee and chose instead to remain with his followers, ultimately dying in battle and attaining martyrdom. His death symbolizes the ultimate act of devotion and surrender, embodying the Sufi ideal of sacrificing oneself entirely in the path of truth and divine service. The text of the 10 Principles outlines 3 primary paths: the path of the pious individuals, focused on outward acts of worship; the path of the righteous centered on inner purification and discipline, and the path of the skilled rooted in love and direct experience. Among these, the path of the skilled is considered the most effective, as it enables rapid spiritual realization through deep inner transformation and divine attraction. Repentance is described as a voluntary return to God, involving the removal of all barriers created by sin and ego, including attachment to one's own existence and identity. In modern life, this reflects the need to let go of harmful habits, ego-driven thinking, and distractions that prevent personal growth and self-awareness. Abstinence involves detachment from both material and non-material desires, including wealth, status, and even subtle forms of pride or recognition. In contemporary society, this principle challenges consumerism and encourages minimalism, intentional living, and freedom from constant desire. Trust in God means complete reliance on divine will, abandoning excessive planning and control, and accepting that ultimate outcomes are beyond human authority. Today, this can reduce anxiety and stress by encouraging acceptance and resilience in uncertain and rapidly changing environments. So you must trust God and know that some things are beyond our control. Every day we can only try our best. Contentment requires limiting one's needs and avoiding excess, especially in consumption, focusing only on what is necessary for survival and spiritual well-being. Modern parallels include sustainable living, mindful consumption, and prioritizing mental health over material accumulation. Solitude emphasizes withdrawing from distractions and isolating oneself from influences that corrupts the soul, allowing for deep introspection and purification. In today's world, this can be practiced through digital detox, mindfulness, and intentional time away from constant stimulation. Constant remembrance of God involves focusing the mind and heart entirely on the divine, using repetition and awareness to eliminate distractions. This resembles meditation practices today, improving focus, emotional regulation, and mental clarity. Contemplation is the act of directing all attention toward divine reality, rejecting all other distractions and attachments completely. In modern terms, this reflects deep focus and purpose-driven living in a world filled with constant interruptions. Patience is the endurance of hardship without complaint, resisting the desires of the ego and remaining steadfast on the spiritual path. This is highly relevant today, where resilience and emotional control are essential for navigating challenges. Self-awareness involves directing all action towards a single divine purpose, abandoning worldly distractions and focusing entirely on spiritual growth. In contemporary life, this aligns with self-reflection, personal accountability, and aligning actions with core values. Satisfaction is a complete acceptance of divine will, surrendering control and trusting the unfolding of life without resistance or complaint. This can reduce inner conflict and stress today by fostering acceptance and emotional balance. There's a section in the teachings called The Fragrances of Beauty, Inner Perception. Now, this section explains that the human perception is veiled by the darkness of the self, and that true vision requires the removal of these internal barriers through struggle and discipline. It teaches that reality is not absent, but hidden by one's own existence, suggesting that transformation must occur within yourself rather than externally. The self, ego, and desires are identified as the primary obstacles to truth, requiring continuous effort to weaken and overcome through discipline and guidance. In modern life, this reflects overcoming ego-driven identity, impulsive behavior, and distractions that prevent clarity and purpose. In Sufism, we ask the question, what is the role of the Shaykh? The Shaykh acts as a guide and purifier, directing the student much like a physician treats illnesses, ensuring proper progression along the spiritual path. This underscores the enduring importance of mentorship and guidance in achieving growth and avoiding self-deception. So we do need a teacher and a guide, especially in a society that teaches individualism, right? We're all walking each other home and we owe this love and light to one another. So if someone has the light then we depend on our fellow human being to show us the path, and that is the role of the Shaykh for his disciple. Spiritual states are described through colors such as green, red, and blue, each representing different levels of purification, energy, and inner transformation. These symbolic descriptions parallel emotional and psychological states, offering a metaphorical framework for understanding personal development. The text of these principles presents an ongoing struggle between divine remembrance and negative influences symbolized as darkness or Satan, emphasizing vigilance and awareness. In modern context, this represents internal conflicts such as temptation, distraction, and ethical dilemmas faced daily. True knowledge is described as arising from inner realization rather than sensory perception or intellectual reasoning alone, emphasizing experiential understanding. So experience is the best teacher at the end. This aligns with modern recognition of intuition, emotional intelligence, and deeper awareness as complements to rational thought. The teachings collectively emphasize discipline, mindfulness, humility, and detachment, addressing widespread modern issues such as anxiety, materialism, and lack of purpose. Applying these principles can help individuals cultivate resilience, clarity, and inner peace in a fast-paced and often overwhelming world. The teachings of Najm ad-Din Al-Kubra provide a structured and profound path towards self-purification, spiritual awareness, and ultimate truth through disciplined practice and inner transformation. Although rooted in classical Sufism, these teachings remain timeless and can be adapted to modern life as tools for ethical living, self-improvement, and deeper understanding. The primary source of this is Najm ad-Din Kubra, the 10 Principles, the Fragrances of Beauty, and the Preambles of Greatness, translated by Shaykh Azar Mirza-Beg. Thank you for watching. If any questions or comments, please email me at salmanshaykh911@gmail.com. And all my work is for the purpose of fair use, protected under the copyright laws of education, entertainment, free speech, and information purposes. Thank you. All rights reserved.